I think that's the line that got the song cut by Reba. I mean, that's one of those lines that makes your hair stand up on end.
Welcome to Bored and Curious. I'm your host, Mary Katz, and joining me today is a songwriter behind some of your favorite Reba McEntire songs, including It's Your Call and Still and For My Broken Heart. We are going to hear the stories behind those songs from the award-winning songwriter herself, Liz Hengber. Liz has been writing hits in Nashville for over 20 years. She has earned 6 number ones and has had over 65 songs recorded by some of the biggest names in country music. Today, Liz is going to tell us about her inspirational songwriting career and the importance of positivity in overcoming anxiety. We'll also get to know Liz a little better with personal questions like, when you get a nice check from a hit song, how do you treat yourself? Let's get started. Well, first of all, welcome to Bored and Curious. I am so excited to have you here today. I've listened to your songs for, since I started listening to country music. And so I'm very grateful that you were able to join me.
Well, thank you.
So, if you don't mind, I'd like to take it all the way back to little baby Liz.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yes. Where'd you grow up? I know it's Brooklyn, but if you want to kind of tell the rest of the world a little bit about little Liz growing up and how you got into country music.
Little Liz was born in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. And I was a Beatles fan at the age of 4. And I, when the Beatles came on Ed Sullivan, I hugged the TV. And hugging a TV in 1964 was not a good idea. You kind of got zapped. There were different TVs then. They were not very healthy to hug one. And, about baby Liz, because 4-year-old baby Liz that was in love with the Beatles, I always thought I was in love. I always thought I was in love with Paul and John and the hair. And I was like, oh, I want to marry them. But I realize now that I was not in love with them. I was in love with the licks, with do, 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 I give her all my love. And I think from that moment, I became a songwriter, even though I didn't know it yet.
At 4.
But I think that's when baby Liz, that's when if without the Beatles, I don't think I'd be a songwriter. I think it just creeped into me. Baby Liz, when she was in the 5th grade, sang What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love in the talent show. And they needed to get teachers from other classrooms to stop the laughter. It was at that moment that I realized I'm not a singer. Can I make up songs? I sing, I'm a really bad singer. But then when I came to Nashville, it was like, oh, I don't have to sing. I could hire Mary to sing or this guy to sing. So that was a beautiful revelation. So does that answer baby Liz?
It does, and it's always surprising whenever someone says that they knew that they were going to be a songwriter or something, because, I have a 4-year-old, and right now he wants to work in construction because he loves building stuff. So it's amazing how kids go from these, I want to be a firefighter, teacher, nurse, and you just plummeted right into songwriter.
Well, I actually didn't. I wanted to be, I realize now that that's when it began. I wanted to be an actress.
Oh.
And I wanted to be a singer, even though I don't act and I don't sing. But I did start making up songs like in high school. And that's when it began, actually.
Is there something about college that you think could prepare students better for the songwriting path or a singing career? Or is there something that they don't really teach in college that you think?
Well, the college, I don't know if you know this, Mary, but I also teach at Belmont.
Yes.
I teach songwriting, and I just got to give a plug to Belmont. I mean, it's somebody said they wanted to be a songwriter, and do you need to go to college for that? I would say yes, if you go to Belmont or Juilliard, especially Belmont College in Nashville, because they really prepare you for hitting Music Row.
Awesome.
And I think I'm just the songwriting department at Belmont just blows me away. And I'm not only saying that because I teach there. I wish they had that when I came to town. I really do.
I imagine that would have been a bit helpful.
It might have been.
So when did you take the official leap and move to Nashville to pursue songwriting? Like what made you take that official leap?
It's a cool story. In 1986, I was still an unemployed actress in New York City, and did one off-Broadway show that was an embarrassment. So I was an unemployed actress that wasn't really pursuing it like she should have been. And I'd come home from my waitressing gigs and I would play guitar and write songs. Well, there was a singer in Nashville named Earl Thomas Connolly, and he just died, and I loved him. And I had his album, and on the back of the album, it said management, Fred Connolly, with an address. And I said, I'm going to send this new song, and I had a demo tape. I'm going to send this new song to this guy, Earl Thomas Connolly's brother. And I did, and he sent me back a contract. He sent me what is called a single song contract. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious. That was the first time I ever pitched a song. And I thought, I don't know if I'm living in the right city. And from there, I took some courses with the NSAI, Nashville Songwriters Association International, and made the decision to move down. Long story short, nothing ever happened to the song with Earl Thomas Connolly, but that doesn't matter. It's what was the catalyst that brought me down. I look back on that, Mary, and I think that was pretty brave at the age of 26 is how old I was. I don't know if I'd be that brave now. I guess that's the beauty of youth. You know, at 26, I was like, oh, what the heck, you know? And I got to say, and it's, my dad passed away, but everybody I ran this by, all my friends in New York, and they were all in the theater, because I was going to leave the theater world to write country music. They thought I was crazy. And they thought that a girl from Brooklyn is never, come on, Liz, they're not going to embrace a girl from Brooklyn. The only person to say, way to go, was my dad.
Wow.
He bought me, he didn't buy me, he gave me the 1973 Oldsmobile. He said, I'll drive you down and then I'll fly home. I'll leave you with the car. And so, yes, I don't know if I would have done it, Mary, without him. You know, I was brave, but he's the one that went push, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does. Yes, absolutely. By the way, 1970, what Oldsmobile? What?
1973 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Wow. Oh, my first car was a 1988 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, it was wonderful. The hood was rusted, and out of the four windows, only one rolled down, and it rolled down halfway, and the AC did not work. So
I love it. Don't you? Yeah, mine would. Same thing. My windows wouldn't roll all the way up, and I had some holes in the roof, so when it rained on me.
Oh, wonderful!
It was lovely.
Yeah. Oh man, it makes me appreciate my Jeep now. So when I think of New York City, Brooklyn, the boroughs and whatnot, I perhaps I'm misconstruing this. I don't know. I tend to think that people are a bit more assertive. You know, they go for what they want. You know, whereas here in the South, we're a little more polite. You know, excuse me, I don't mean to bother you, but whereas New York, they're like, no, let's get this done. And
yes.
So, do you think that being raised in probably a more assertive environment kind of gave you the gusto to go for it and approach publishers in Nashville? I think a lot of people would be scared of that.
Yes. Yeah. The Brooklyn way is, there's a word called moxie. There's a lot of moxie in the Brooklyn way. And yeah, that is one thing about me. I'm not afraid to knock on the doors. I needed, how do I say this? I needed to tone it back, and I learned how to do that. Because when I first came to town, I was like, hi, I'm Liz. Here's my music. Let's write. And I was way too much. And Amy Curlin at the Bluebird said, you got to reel it back a little bit, Liz. You got to. So I learned to hide it a little bit, but I'm still pushy. I just, now you don't really notice it that much. I'm pushing, but I'm doing it in a very Southern polite way. rather than, hey, what's wrong with you? You don't like my music or what? That was me.
That's awesome. Bringing back the Brooklyn accent too.
Oh, it comes back.
Yeah, my Southern accent really goes full force when I'm on the phone with my mom.
There you go.
In one interview, you had mentioned that to become a songwriter full time, you had to change your schedule. So you were doing it basically like a 9-to-5 job, and you were working nights.
Yes.
What changes did you notice in your songs once you made that shift?
I don't know if there were changes in my songs, but I was writing more songs. I was taking it seriously, because the more songs you write, the better you'll get, is how I view it. I made the decision that, I was waiting tables at the Bluebird I usually got to the Bluebird at 4:00, waited tables there till 1 a.m. So during the day, I'd wake up at 9 a.m. and I'd say, okay, you're writing today. This is not a day to go to the mall. It's not a day to go to the movies. If my friend wanted to go to lunch, I said, not while I'm writing. And I pretended like I was a staff writer, even though I wasn't, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. So what do you love most about songwriting?
Well, some days I hate it.
My next question was, what do you least enjoy?
But what I love most about it is that that's a great question, is that it's an outlet that it's a playground for me to, I'm very visual. I love to paint. My husband's a painter, but I also love to do paintings. It's just a way for me to get out is the word, and I'm terrible with, I'm a writer that's terrible with words. Cathartic, is that the word?
Yes,
I can get it out. I can just, if there's pain, there's a song I wrote called Just Like Them Horses that Reba recorded. Yes. And it really is based on a combination of my dad passing away and I was there. I held my dad's hand when he took his last breath, and my sister-in-law. I got hit with death back to back, back in the year 2013. And I'm blessed that I was able to write it and put it into a song. And Tommy Lee wrote that with me. And the funny thing about that song, Mary, is that all three of us were dealing with mortality and death. I lost my dad and my sister-in-law. Tommy lost his mom. Reba was losing her dad. So it was the perfect combination of three people getting together. I think we all needed each other at that point, if that makes sense.
It does. It really does. Speaking of Reba, do you go into the studio when one of your songs is being cut in case there need to be any lyrical changes or?
Never.
Wow.
I never I think other writers get invited to the studio. I hear about it. I've never been in a studio when anybody was cutting my songs, and I prefer it that way.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna. It's in the producer's hands. He's gonna let them interpret it at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's not a place for me. There are other writers I know that have been, but hey, I'm a lyricist. I can't help with the melody. I can't help with production. I don't know a major 5 from a flat whatever.
If you could change one thing about the industry, what would it be?
Well, I wish it was more female friendly to female artists.
Okay.
It's Mickey Guyton should be a huge star.
Oh, she's fantastic.
She should be huge. She should be as big a name as Eric Church. So that's what I would change.
Do you think it's just, are they not marketed as much, or?
I don't know. I'm not an artist. I know everything there is about being a writer, but I don't know why country radio doesn't play enough women. That's like, well, we played 2 women in the last hour. We can't do that. No, you can. You could play 5. I don't know. I think we're way behind for all of our advancements, and that's in a lot of genres. But for all of our advancements, we're still behind the ball on that. And I'd like to see more African American artists in country. more Mickeys, more Dariuses. I think it's starting to change. I was very proud. I forget Brothers Osborne. One of them came out as gay, and
Yes.
I'm thrilled that he did that. It's like, yes, this is how the business changes. We have to just go for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. What do you think the biggest hurdle is to overcome in songwriting?
I think the doubts that keep you from actually writing. Sometimes people say, "Well, I've got writer's block, so I'm not going to write." I don't think there's such a thing as writer's block. I think that you're just not living your life. You need a song idea, go to a movie with a pad and pencil. I always tell people, my students at Belmont especially, just show up and see what happens. So I think the biggest hurdle is getting out of your own way, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Putting the pen on the paper. What do you think is the biggest misconception about the music industry or songwriting industry?
That's a tough one. The biggest misconception. What would you think? Let me turn it on you, because I'm not sure how to answer that.
Sure. I would say overnight success.
I'm going to go with yours. That's true, because I just got finished reading Bruce Springsteen's autobiography, Born to Run, and not an overnight success. He worked for it. I was not an overnight success. I mean, it took me 5 years to get anybody to take me seriously. And I'm glad, because I wasn't ready for it when I first came to this town.
Okay. When it comes to new and emerging songwriters, who do you think really, has it, whatever the it is?
Do you mean artists or songwriters?
Songwriters.
Songwriters. My students at Belmont. And it's terrible. I know them by their first names. I don't know. A new guy that I write with named Reba Stimson. He was my student, and now we're writing together. He's phenomenal. A guy I write with named Joey Ebach. He's Justin Ebach's brother. And Joey is Justin is an amazing writer, and Joey is every bit as good too. I love these new writers. I'm not talking about young. That's not what I mean. But
Right.
they happen to be young. Like when I say young, under 35, it seems that their fingers on the pulse of what's being done out there, and it helps me. It helps me get out of my comfort zone. Those two people come to mind. There's so many, though, that I love that you've never heard them. Oh, Kellis Collins. Kellis Collins is an amazing writer. It's Kelly with an S, Kellis. She's on the Reba McEntire album. We've had a cut together. We have a cut called "The Bar's Getting Lower" on the last Reba album, but she wrote one called "Your Heart," and she wrote it by herself. And I told her that was really mean of her to do. She could have invited me in on that, but she could do it all. She could do hip hop. She could do traditional country. My writers inspire me, Mary. They really do. I work with some incredible talent.
That's awesome. Can you tell when a songwriter who, no matter how hard they try, it's just not going to happen for them for some reason? And then if you do notice, do you tell them?
Okay, are you saying that well, I could tell you I would never say that to anybody. But you're saying a songwriter that I'm co-writing with, whether I know that it's not going to happen for them?
Sure, just in general, because being in Nashville for over 20 years at this point, I assume you've come across some who you think, that's not.
If I've thought that privately, I'm usually wrong. If I think that they're usually going to be the biggest star ever. You just don't know. I tell my students this at Belmont too. I said, if you have a co-write and it goes bad and you're thinking, oh man, this person and me just didn't jive, make sure you try it one more time. because the second time you might go, wait a minute, this is cool. That happened, and the guy that happened with one of my favorite co-writers, and he'll go nameless because I don't want him to ever know that I thought of him that way. But we've had cuts together, me and this gentleman, and I thought the first time that we got together, I thought, oh no, we're not getting anything. This is not working. I gave it a second try, and it was love at first right. I was like, I was so wrong. I can't tell you, Mary, how many times I've been wrong about somebody that way. So to answer your question, no, I would never tell anybody they don't have it, because who am I to judge? I don't know, but no, anyway, I hope that answers the question. I think that does. I could never assume that somebody's not going to happen, because you just don't know.
Yeah, I was curious about that because in other industries, if someone is an accountant and they're just not doing the numbers well, if, someone is a teacher and maybe all the students are rebelling or they're failing, however that works, however you judge a teacher, I have no idea. Or you got a lawyer that's not winning any cases. So in other professions, there's, metrics that can be used to determine someone's performance level. And I just didn't know if there was like anything that is similar.
Not to me. I mean, the only thing is that not that they're not going to make it, but will they last in the business? If they have too much negativity, if they're judgmental in the writing appointment, if they, I have worked with writers that are like, come on, Liz, that's corny or whatever. It's like, okay, we're definitely not going to book this again. Those people, I would say, may not last very long in the business, because, the business wants to be full of likable people. People have lost their publishing deals and their record deals because they just were unworkable.
Is there someone in the industry who you haven't worked with yet, but you really want to?
Yes, there's so many. Oh God, I would love to sit in a room and write with Eric Church. I'd love to, who I haven't worked with that I'd love to work with. Nikki Guyton. I'd love to get in a co-write with her. Oh, that would be just such an honor, because I love everything she does. And the list goes on and on. Yes, I have a wish list.
So how does that work in terms of co-writing with someone? Because you're with one publishing company. If Eric Church is with another publishing company, do you have to work an individual contract to work that out? Or do you just say, hey, we're just going to write together?
Usually the publishers set them up. Usually, let's make up a fictitious man named, Joe Black. I want to write with Joe Black. My publisher will call, and he's an artist as well. My publisher will either call the management company or call the publisher, and they'll work it out. They'll either say yes or they'll say no. Sometimes they say yes. Mm-hmm. I'm still not afraid to no. If they turn me down, I'll ask them again.
That's the Brooklyn in you.
That's the Brooklyn in me, yeah.
Do you have a favorite song of yours that you've written, or one that means the most to you?
I think the most important song I wrote for me, and I honestly don't know whether I'll ever top it, and that's okay, is Just Like Them Horses. It was the most honest I've ever been in a song. I didn't write that to get it cut. I wrote it to get it out. Here's what happened with Just Like Them Horses. I'm not a melody writer, but I thought, I'm going to write this melody because I can do it. So I wrote the entire lyric and I put a melody to it. And I thought, this is good. I'm going to send this to Reba. And I drove around the neighborhood listening to it. I put it in it's when I was burning CDs. And I said, this melody is horrible, Liz. You know the melody's horrible and you know who to call. So I called up Tommy Lee James, who's an amazing writer and lyricist in his own right, but at melody, he's unreal. I sent it to him, and in 20 minutes, he had the melody.
Wow.
He sent it back to me, and what I heard just crushed me. It was so beautiful. We quickly did a demo with him singing. I quickly emailed it to Reba. And I'm Reba has cut a lot of my songs, but she turns down songs too, of course. Not every one of my songs wows her. But this one I really wanted I wanted her to like this one. This one meant a lot to me. So the email, like, ding, you've got mail. And it was Reba responding to Just Like Them Horses. Mary, I couldn't open up the email right away. I had to go down to the fridge and pour myself some white wine. And I went upstairs and I held onto that white wine and I took a sip and I said, okay, open it up. And the email said, put this one on hold for me. And I was like, yay. There was something about that song. I was like, I really wanted her to see it. So that's that.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
So when a song is a hit, okay, I say this because I think a lot of people don't understand they're just not aware of the pay structure when it comes to songwriting. And they hear the term staff writer and they think that's a salary-based position, and it's generally not, correct?
No. Well, it feels like it is, but it's money from future royalties. So let's say I make $50,000 a year from a company called Apple Publishing. I make $50,000 a year, but when the new Reba McEntire album comes out, they're going to take their part of the money. They're going to take, so that $50,000 is an advance, pretty much. So you're either in the black to your company or you're in the red. They've either paid you so much money. You never really pay that money back, but you probably will never see anything from record sales either, record sale money. That's how the publisher gets his money back.
Gotcha. So when a record does come out and it's a hit, you've gone to number one, the royalties are coming in, awesome. How do you treat yourself? Like, what do
I treat myself?
How do you treat yourself? Yes.
Oh, golly. Well, how I treated myself in the old days and how I treat myself now are different. In the old days, I would go to Vegas.
Okay.
and put $1,000 on black. Those days are gone. I did that in my youth. Then I married my husband, Phil Foster, and he said, okay, we're not doing that. So now I have something called a travel fund, and I put money away for travel because I love to travel. That's how I treat myself, by traveling.
I love it. Yeah.
Good question there, Mary.
Where do you like to travel whenever you?
Right before COVID hit, we went to Italy. And we went to Florence, and we made it 3 months before COVID hit.
Wow.
So I'm so grateful we chose that time to go.
I'm dying to go to Italy. I just want to eat the food and look at everything.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
So let's switch gears, move into the story behind the song.
Sure.
My first one, probably my absolute favorite, is For My Broken Heart.
Okay.
Every time I hear that song, it's like I'm hearing it for the first time.
Here's the story, and it involves one of the greatest writers that Nashville has ever known, and singers, and he's not alive anymore. He had a short life. I think he died at 37. His name was Keith Palmer. Keith Palmer did a demo for me. He sang a demo for me. And when he was done, I said, you did great. I said, you're a writer too. Let's write sometime. And he said, sure. And so we booked a date to write. And here's the true story of that. I was very nervous because it was a new writing appointment. And I was going to cancel that appointment because I was so nervous. And also Macy's was having the Clinique sale. And I thought, wow, if I go to Macy's now, I'll be the first to get that Clinique bag. The where you have all the special stuff. I love that stuff.
Still do that.
But something in me said, no, Liz, show up. Keith seems like a nice guy. And I showed up anyway. I showed up for work. I did not go get the Clinique bag. And if I had gone to get the Clinique bag, I would have deprived myself of really working with one of the best writers in town, Keith Palmer. I would have deprived myself of my first #1 song. I would have deprived myself of my first publishing deal. I was a nobody when I was writing For My Broken Heart. I was a waitress. who was obsessed with Clinique bags, but I went to that writing appointment, and that writing appointment changed the whole course of my life.
Wow.
Which is really unbelievable, the decisions you make. I mean, I almost didn't do it because I was nervous, and what a tragedy that would have been. I was also very close to moving back to New York. It was 5 years at that point, and nobody was cutting my songs, but that was the one. And I had no idea. I went to, later after I wrote with Keith, I went back to the Bluebird to finish. Actually, I was working at the German restaurant. Then I went to the German restaurant and worked until 1 a.m. I had no idea that I was sitting on my career song. Wow. No. And so I like to tell my students, show up. You just never know. You never know what's going to happen. Anyway, that's that story.
Do you remember the first time you heard Reba sing that incredible chorus? Like, her voice just soars, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I do. And I remember the first time I heard it on the radio. I was late for a writing appointment, and I had not heard the song on the radio yet. And lo and behold, it came on the radio. And I could not just go to my writing appointment. I had to drive my car. I drove my car and parked it in front of my first apartment that I got when I lived in Nashville. And I looked at the apartment and I said, we did it. It really happened. It's, I won't lie, it was more than exciting.
Yeah, I got chills when you said that.
It was wonderful.
I really hope this next one is not something that you experienced, because that would be awful if it is.
Okay.
It's Your Call. Please tell me you didn't write that.
No.
Okay.
No, that's not anything I experienced. It was that was not my idea. That was Shauna Harrington, another great writer. That was her idea. And I remember it was me, Shauna Harrington, and Bruce Birch. And I remember we were one line away with that song. And Bruce Birch is such a great writer, and he's always scribbling something on a pad. Whereas when I write, I don't scribble. I just throw out, I'm loud and I throw out lyrics. And there's Bruce. We were one line away, and Bruce said, I don't know. I have this line. I'm not sure if it's really good or not. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, she called here to talk to you with a message I can't take. And I fell off my chair. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, that is so the line. I think that's the line that got the song cut by Reba. I mean, that's one of those lines that makes your hair stand up on end. Right. That's
because it has more than one meaning for sure, but
it does.
It just kills your heart.
Oh, he killed me that day, Bruce. I was like, Bruce, you're killing me. You're killing me. He's so good.
And the next song on my list is Forever Love.
Oh, I love that song. It is, that one was almost like Reba was doing a movie about a woman that was in a coma for 20 years or maybe 15 years in a coma. And they said, we need a song for the movie. It can't be very rangy because one of the actors needs to sing it to her by her bedside. And I said, well, what's the premise? And they said, well, she's in a coma, but he's always going to love her. And I said to my publisher, Mike Sebastian, how about Forever Love? And he went, good, write it. And we wrote it. And it became the title of the movie. Wow. So it was, that was an honor. That was great. That was with Deanna Bryant and Sonny Russ.
Awesome. It's a beautiful song. I listened to it today at the gym. My next one is And Still. This song kills me. Like,
thank you.
I can think of some scenarios where that would be. Where
that did happen. That's a combination of something that happened to me and getting a song idea from a movie. That whole scene where, at the end of the song, she thinks this guy is single. And then at the end of the song, along comes the wife. That is a scene out of the movie Made in Heaven with Timothy Hutton and Kelly McGinnis. And that exact thing happens at the end of the movie. The Kelly McGinnis is talking to him, to her ex-husband, and they're reconnecting. And along comes the beautiful blonde wife. And then her heart just drops. It also happened to me because it begins with, there was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He walked up to me, looked in my eyes. I was leaving a bar once right near Music Row at about 11 at night. And who should I run into but my ex and his girlfriend? And literally, that's where that line came from. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I was like, what are you going to do? If I run away, they're going to say, oh, look at that. Liz ran away from us. You got to take these things from life and just write about them.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on.
I feel like I'm talking too much about myself, Mary.
No, I'm loving it. I see Kelly Clarkson on her show, and I see her energy level and how excited she gets to talk about, the topics on her show. And I can see her, I don't know if she's looking at a producer or what, to like this, keeping her on track, because you could tell she gets really excited and then she has to like take it down. So I'm trying to keep myself.
Oh, you're doing great.
Oh my gosh, because I'm having a Beatles moment right now.
There you go.
Okay, the next song I have is She's More.
Oh, that was me and the wonderful Rob Crosby. That was our first writing appointment. We shook hands, introduced ourselves to each other, and I had this idea. I said, I have an idea called She's Not What I Was Looking For, She's More. And Rob just said, I love it. And we wrote that in one day. And there was a new kid named Andy Griggs. They said, well, we're going to pitch this to him. And I said, pitch it to the Korean deli if you want. I don't care. Just get my songs out there. And Andy cut it, and it went to number one. That was an honor. Andy Griggs, golly, what a talent.
Yeah, he has an amazing voice.
Yeah. And Rob Crosby, that was the first of many with Rob Crosby.
Do you have any songs that you would want to mention, perhaps the story behind the song, or did I kind of cover my bases there?
A Father's Love was the Only Way He Knows How was a very special one, because that's really about my pop. It was about all of our dads. We all three of us went to lunch, and it turns out we all had the same dad. And what I love about that song is that my dad literally helped us write the second verse. In the second verse of A Father's Love, for people who don't know what the song's about, it's about a father who can't say I love you. So instead of saying I love you, he does things for the kid. So in the second verse, he buys a new house and the dad starts fixing things and getting under the sink and hold the flashlight for me. And so when we were writing the second verse, none of us were handy. And I said, hi, Dad, we're writing a song. I said, what's the first thing you need to do when you find a house? What do you need? And he goes, you're looking for a house? And I said, no. I said, well, what would you do if you were buying a house? What are the things? He goes, oh, well, come on, Liz, you gotta see if the electricity is up to codes. You're really bad at that. And you ignore those things. Those are important details. And you got to, Liz, get under the sink, get on your knees and get under the sink with a flashlight. And those guys were laughing their butts off. They were like, oh my God, that's so funny. And they were writing down everything he was saying. And I said, okay, Dad, thanks, bye. And we literally wrote that second verse verbatim. Okay, he talked about the codes, he talked about the plumbing, and so he helped write that song. He didn't get credit, and he should have.
I have a friend who recently bought a house, and she should have listened to that song like before the inspector came, because he missed some stuff that he didn't think he should have seen. Okay, switching gears to a little bit of personal stuff, just for fun, is what I call this segment.
All right.
So first of all, do you watch TV? And if so, what you watching?
Oh, man, I can't stop. I'm late to the game, but I'm binging on Mad Men. And I got to stop. I love it. It's an amazing show. But, oh, my God, I don't know if there's a redeeming character in that. I mean, it's so dark. I'm struggling with it, but I'm addicted to it. And I'm addicted to Sex and the City. I could recite every single episode. I know the dialogue.
That's me with Friends, but Sex and the City, they're coming out with a new one.
I cannot wait.
It's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited.
Yes, it's gonna be fantastic. So I guess Sex and the City would then be your favorite TV show, because that was my next question.
Yeah, that was my favorite, and I got a lot of song ideas from it too.
Really? Any of the ones that are kind of the more major, like out on the airwaves songs that we?
No, but one that just got recorded. When Aiden's on his knees in the middle of the street and he proposes to Carrie. I put that in a song that I wrote with Emily Weisspan, and my other co-writer is so wonderful, and Sonia Isaacs. I put that whole scene into a song.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite movie, and if so, what is it?
It changes. Shawshank Redemption. But there's a movie that I streamed that I can't stop watching. I've watched it 3 times. It's called Life Itself.
Okay.
And it's on Amazon Prime. But famous movies, Shawshank Redemption, It's a Wonderful Life, of course. When Harry Met Sally, Casablanca. I love movies.
I'm a bit of a reader. So do you have anything that you're reading? Books or anything? What you reading?
My favorite book I've ever read is 11/22/63 by Stephen King.
Oh.
And I'm not a huge Stephen King fan, but it's about a guy that goes back into time to try to stop the Kennedy assassination.
Oh, wow.
It's so good. Best book I ever read. I love The Catcher in the Rye. I love F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. Right now I'm reading the Andy Carpenter detective series. I love that. No, he's a lawyer, not a detective. No, the lawyer series, Andy Carpenter, the Andy Carpenter books, they're wonderful.
Okay, very good. What's in your song rotation?
You mean my playlist?
The
The songs?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. I'm Amos Lee, America, Ashley McBride. Who else is on there? A group called Delamitri, Reba, of course, Ben Rector, some old Brooks and Dunn.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Springsteen.
That's awesome. If you have a celebrity crush, who is it?
Celebrity crush?
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo. Is that how you pronounce the name?
Yeah.
Also, Ed Harris, the actor Ed Harris. I know the young people are going, oh, he's an old man. Well, I'm an old lady. So Ed Harris and a young Gene Hackman.
I can see it. Yeah. And do you have any pets?
Yeah, Macy J. Foster.
Macy.
She's a rescue dog. She's a lab. She's out with her daddy right now.
Oh, we've got 3 rescue doggies ourselves.
I'm second. My husband, she likes me. She loves my husband. She tolerates me.
Yeah, that's how one of our German Shepherds is with my husband.
She there you go.
Acknowledges my existence. You like traveling, right?
I love to travel.
So is there somewhere you haven't traveled that you'd like to when this whole pandemic thing settles down?
I'd like to see Denmark. I'd like to see Sweden and Norway. I think that would be fun. Don't want to go to Africa. Not much on Spain. But I think I'd like to go to Norway and all those places.
I bet you'd be able to see the Northern Lights from there.
That would be fun.
All right. And what's the worst thing you did as a kid? I feel like this is a really fun question. You get some really good stories with this.
Wow. The worst thing, I know what the worst thing I did as a kid, but you're not going to like me very much for it.
Uh-oh. Nothing incriminating.
Well, I was bullied when I was a kid. I was bullied in the 7th grade. And for some reason, that should have made me more compassionate, but it didn't. When I was in 7th grade, me and another girl bullied a girl. And I've recently apologized to her. She says she has no memory of it, but I think it's maybe it was worse than I thought, but I thought we didn't bully badly, nothing compared to what bullies do today. But it was the worst thing I think I've ever done in my life, actually. And I should have known because I was being bullied. I think I did it because of that. Mm-hmm. When you're 13, you're just messed up. I was a messed up, unhappy 13-year-old. And I wrote a song about it. And I apologized to her. I said, I should not have teased you. Like I said, what me and this other girl did to this girl was more into the category of teasing rather than, I mean, full range bullying today is actually dangerous.
Yes.
But that's the worst thing I did. Sometimes I think about it. Sometimes I go, what were you thinking? You know, I'm not a mean person. Mm-hmm. I'm a pushy person, but I'm not mean. I'm very compassionate, and things like that break. If I see a kid being bullied, I just want to step in and just say, just cut it out. So hated admitting that to you, but you seem to get it out of people, Mary. I don't know.
I mean, you know, kids do a lot of just outlandish things. You know, we're all learning, and that's what forgiveness is for. We're all just trying to find our way.
My mom caught wind of it, and I got punished. And the best thing she ever did was punish me for that.
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done, or riskiest?
I didn't know it was risky at the time, but I hitchhiked around Ireland.
Oh boy!
When I was 24, and I came back from that trip to an eviction notice. I decided to just go to Ireland instead of paying 2 months' rent. I'm telling you, I was not all there.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You learned your lesson, but you had a good time.
I did.
All right. And what is the biggest compliment you could ever receive?
These are good questions. That I'm a good teacher.
But I would assume that your students probably, hopefully, let you know that.
They do, and some I haven't reached, but some I have reached and inspired, and that really makes me happy. I teach one night a week at Belmont, and it's a wonderful. I love Tuesday nights. I really do.
Awesome. Well, those are all my just for fun questions. We can switch gears here. I think we'll be done in about 5 minutes. Moving on to Could You Not? As previously discussed, whether it's professional, personal, whatever it is, just tell the world, could you not?
And could you not be judgmental?
Mm-hmm. Okay, and moving on to why in the Sam Hill do we say that? All right. I'll give you 3 options. We've got Sam Hill, we've got Under the Weather, and A Country Mile.
You want me to choose one?
Sure.
Under the Weather?
Its origin may have to do with sailing. The website The Phrase Finder mentions that in older times, when a sailor was feeling seasick, he would be sent below deck so he could get away from being under the harsh weather.
Oh, good.
What? And now
I like that.
All right. Yeah, I came across those when we've had like 7 au pairs. And so they, you know, they're all from different countries. And I would say things like Under the Weather. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? And I'm like, ooh, I don't know.
That's an American thing.
Why do we say that? So, all right. That is it for Bored and Curious. If you have anything you would like to add, whether it's about songwriting or just life or anything, the floor is yours. If there's anything else you want to put out there.
I just want to say thank you. I've done a few interviews, but I always feel guilty, like I'm just talking too much about myself. But you're very good at this, and I cannot wait to hear it and hear your other people that you have on. And I'm sure you do other things besides songwriters, but I'd just love to hear it. I think it's I'm new to podcasts, and I love them.
I really do appreciate you coming on today. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you. You did great, and ask me anytime.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Alrighty, folks. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Got lots of more fun stuff coming up. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and give us a follow over on social media. Be sure to check out Liz's latest song, If You Had a Heart, recorded by Jillian Cardarelli. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.